Before we start this video, I want to address something casual. You'll hear me washing a little bit, and you may hear a little bit of coughing because I was getting close to bed. And now, please sit back, relax, and enjoy this chapter of Marshall Gone Missing. When Marshall started his runaway journey to Jake's Mountain, a lot of questions plagued his mind. Most of them were about the Paw Patrol, and whether or not it was the right to abandon his duties. Black died while also abandoning the people who disciplined on him. He also wondered if his friends really did hate him, or was it just the heat of the moment? Plus, there were his parents. There were his parents. He could have gone to them easily, or even asked Ryder to just go home. But he felt too ashamed to face his parents as a failure. But the biggest question that was on Marshall's mind in the moment was if he made a wrong turn somewhere. The mountain area he was traveling in was unfamiliar to him, and he had been on this mountain a lot in his past. Great. Another thing I'm not good at. Following that stupid road. He turned to his left and saw the growing storm in the distance, which made his tail shiver. If he didn't find Jake soon, he was going to have to hold out against the storm. Maybe I'll call Ryder. Maybe this wasn't such a good idea. It made Jeff facing the consequences for his actions and his former friends, but Marshall knew it was smarter than ending up in the middle of the storm with no protection. Just as he was about to press his dog tag, he gasped upon seeing a family of bunnies hopping in his trackway. Whoa! Look out! Turning the truck to the right, Marshall and his truck flew off, and the path started going downhill. Chop rocks scattered everywhere as Marshall bumped and jerked in the seat, doing his best not to get motion sick. He tried pressing the brakes, but the wedge was too sharp. I like rocky road, but this is ridiculous. Marshall then gasped when he saw what the hill was leading him to, a deep cliff with one-way ticket to puppy heaven. He tried pressing the brakes again, but they refused to budge. Marshall's scream echoed in the valley as the fire truck reached to the edge and began to plummet to his doom. Without thinking, he cried out, "Off! Ladder!" The ladder opened up from the behind, and Marshall turned around, jumping into it, and continued to extend while he climbed up as fast as he could. When he reached the end, he jumped as high as he could and grabbed the weight of the cliff. Saving himself just in the nick of time, grunting, he climbed up and lay on his back, panting over and over again. That was too close. Marshall's heart sunk as he opened his eyes and carefully peered over the cliff. He whimpered upon seeing his paralyzed fire truck smashed and on fire. Even worse, it was everything he owned was down there. His food, clothing, gear, all Marshall had with him, now with his collar. He really did it this time, whispered Marshall, shaking his head. How could this be any worse? Just as soon as he said that, a crash of lightning echoed in the air as rain began to fall down on him. Of course. Like any pilot, Skye hated flying in rough weather. Still, she was a professional and wouldn't let herself get held back in her mission to find Marshall. Skye never told anyone, but she used to have a crush on Marshall when she first met him. That was until she thought that they were better off as friends. Marshall was nice, but he wasn't boyfriend material for her. Although, if her girl intention was correct, she suspected Everest might have a thing for him. Instead, she decided to set her eyes on someone else. Skye sighed as she glanced down at the world below her. Chase, in his spy-mobile, was focused on one thing: finding his best friend. Chase's exploration told everyone that he was worried the most. The fact that he even completely developed his professional attitude, screaming at himself while crying for his best friend, showed how much really regret his hateful words at Marshall. Now that Skye didn't react to her decision either, especially what after Marshall did for her. That one time it gets some trouble from her past. While the pups were free to do whatever they want within reason, Sunday was patrol day. That was the day Ryder split the group into 3 teams of 2 to watch for any dangers or emergencies. However, due to the late-night rescue that required all the Paw Patrol, except Skye and Marshall, only one group was out today. The rest had been given the opinion to sleep in, even Chase, who normally loved patrol day. And so, gear up in the pup packs, the duo head out to do their weekly patrol. Skye actually tried to remember the time when she hung out on patrol with only Marshall, but couldn't recall. The only 2 pups she ever went out alone was with Chase, because of reasons. And Zuma because she saw him as her kid brother, even she was shorter than him. So, what do you want to do? Check out the farms? The beach? The playground? Asked Marshall, jumping up and down like a newborn pup, wagging his tail, panting. Skye chuckled at his abandonness. He was cute and nice, but Skye wanted somebody mature. Someone like Chase. Thinking about Chase again? Asked Marshall, surprising her and laughing when she saw her blush. She didn't know how him, or of all the pups, knew of her, nor of her crush on the leader pup. But at least he didn't blab it out. I didn't know why you didn't tell him. I'm sure he'll accept. But he doesn't seem to notice me like, a girl. I mean, he always so serious about being a police dog that he's probably too focused on that. He probably to be focused on that to even like me, answered Skye. Marshall snorted and did his best to hold his laughter in. Oh, jeez. What? Nothing, said Marshall, laughing out loud. Nothing. He then stopped and tilted his head upon seeing something across the street. Hey, what's that? Skye turned across the street, and where there was an empty parking lot usually, only had something that Skye didn't have seen in a long time. A Series F pink and decorated trailers and a moving can with the words "Dog Beauties of USA." She didn't know why they would be here of all places, since Adventure Bay was a small town and not a city like LA or New York. Public is here to rest before moving on. Hey, do you used to be a model? Asked Marshall, asking Skye as they got closer. Skye sighed. Kinda. My entire family is in the dog modeling business. My sisters are huge stars in Europe, and my mom and dad were big back in their day. They're retired now. I used to do it, but I released it. It wasn't for me. I want to get into flying. So what happened? Asked Marshall, sitting down. One day I saw a small plane and got inside. I accidentally activated, but I was able to control it. I spotted a fire in the building with a mother and her baby on the roof. I landed and got them in safety, and my ex-pilots were reported on TV. Ryder soon contacted me and asked if I want to be part of the PAW Patrol. Took me all day to convince my parents, but they let me go, explained Skye. Thinking about the day with what's the day she felt alive for the first time in her life and could really do something. All the photo charts and dress-ups wasn't the exciting to her. She felt like a doll, living a life she never wanted. Do you want to check it out? Maybe you have some of your old friends, said Marshall. Skye shook her head. Nah, I wasn't close to anyone. Let's just continue with Oh my gosh! Tiana! Look who it is! Shouted a snobby-sounding voice. Skye's eyes widened before she shut them down and cursed in her head. Oh no, not them, anyone but them. Slowly turning around, Skye saw a poodle with a fancy haircut and a diamond pink dress, and a golden retriever with a colored fur wearing a light blue dress with a tiara on her head. Suddenly, Skye felt like she was under a spotlight in a tight dress, and couldn't breathe as everyone stared at her. Again, the two smoking dogs walked up to scare Skye and confuse Marshall. Well, look what we have here. It's our old good pal Skye, said the poodle. You know them, Skye? Asked Marshall, but Skye only kept her head down low. Oh, we know her all right. I'm Tiana, and this is Babe. We used to be best friends. Isn't that right? Skye cry? Teased the retriever. Skye turned away, biting her lip, and she remembered the awful nickname. That name which took months to forget. Leave me alone! What was that, you little cry baby? Asked Tiana. Growling, Skye screamed. I said, leave me alone! And don't call me that. I'm not a little scaredy pup anymore. The two fashion dogs laughed and shook their heads before turning to Marshall. Has Skye never tell you how bad she was as a model? How she always posed one or knocking over stage equipment? Let's not forget the time she fell off the stage once and hurt her knee and cried. Only because you pushed me, you always will bully me around, shouted Skye, looking ready to watch at them. You can't prove anything, said Babe, before looking at Skye's clothes worn back in disguise. Ugh, and I see your sense and style has only gotten worse. Look at what you're wearing. This is my wind gear. I'm a member of PAW Patrol, a rescue pup. I do fare more good in the world than you two foo-foos ever do. Continued Skye. Oh, please. You in PAW Patrol? I bet you're just a servant or something. There's no way they would take crybaby like you. Skye cry, said Tiana. Skye was about to say something, but Marshall growled first. You've won! Skye is our friend, and she's one of the best flowers I ever seen. Standing in front of her like a knight, he continued. Skye, I saved so many people with her flying skills that we couldn't do half of our rescues without her. She's brave, smart, grateful, talented, and fun to hang out with. And a lot less I could say for you two uglies. The insulted dogs gasped and growled. Watch it, Fireboy. We happen to be the top two models of our industry. then the industry stinks. If it thinks you two are beautiful, Skye has a beautiful spirit, and that's most important than any makeup, dress, or jewelry you wear, chatted Marshall. Marshall, thought Skye, who felt her heart skip. She never had anyone stand up to her like that. What are you, her boyfriend? Asked Babe. No, but I'm her friend. And as a friend, I feel inclined to do this. Marshall smirked before saying, Off? Water cannon. Skye watched as Marshall's water cannon came out of his pup pack and sprayed the two bullies with ice cold water. The two screamed in fear and despair as the water ruined the perfect appearances. They went away, calling their assistants while crying like babies. Skye and Marshall laughed as they saw the whole thing. The former wishing she had a camera to record this and put it online. It would be the perfect revenge against these two for anything what they had done to her. But this was enough for now. That was so awesome! Chatted Skye as she watched over and licked a blushing Marshall. Thanks for standing up for me. What are friends for? Replied Marshall, putting his water cannon away. Let's continue with the patrol, shall we? Let's go. Answered Skye, and they continued down the street, and X was skipping her walk. Marshall had helped her deal with her old bullies, and she repaid him by bullying him back with the others. She felt unworthy being his friend, and she swore she would do anything she could to bring his friend home. She glanced down when she saw Chase and found him stopping in the middle of the road, pressing his communicator tag, and she called Chase. Did you find something?
Yeah, I found a bunch of tracks. It smells like Marshall's truck,
said Chase on the other line. Really? That's great! Chatted Skye as he hoped it began to feel in her chest. Skye quickly contacted Ryder. Ryder, we found the tracks of Marshall's fire truck.
Great work, pups. We tried to head up to your location, but the storm's getting pretty rough,
said Ryder. Hang tight until we get there.
But Ryder, we need to find Marshall. How could we be miles ahead? Anytime we'll waste any second chance of finding him,
shouted Chase.
And what happens if we get lost in the storm as well? Especially if we do together. Can I at least use my drone? That way I can stay on the search and stay put,
suggested Chase. Designed to support Chase, Skye quickly said, I'll be with him at all time, Ryder. Don't worry.
Alright, just be careful. Ryder out. Good luck, Chase,
said Ryder.
Super Spice Chase is on the case. Drone!
As Skye came down from the landing, she saw the drone shot out and fly in the direction of the tracks. Leaning down, she watched over to Chase, being mindful to the rain, and she saw a concrete on the drone screen. She didn't see anything as Chase content, but she seen the worry in his eyes. Come on, Marshall. You have to be somewhere, muttered Chase. I have to find him. Chase, said Skye, putting a paw on his shoulder. We will find him. I promise. Chase nodded and thanks as he went back to his drone screen. Marshall normally liked being wet, but not this kind. After a grueling climb, the poor pup was forced to brave the mountain through the harsh storm. He was almost at Jake's mountain, but the side of the winter fought back just a few miles away. Still, he needed a place to rest and waited for the storm to calm down. He had tried contacting for help, but his tag was damaged from the fall he took. Even if he wanted to call for help, which he did, he couldn't. Teeth chattering, Marshall braved his way through the wind, the cold winds, hoping the lightning didn't hit him as he made his further up into the mountain. Need to find some place to rest. He then noticed something nearby and gasped with joy. A cave! It was big and looked like to be very deep. Putting extra engine to his legs, Marshall ran to the cave and sighed in relief. Upon feeling the rain stop hitting his fur. Checking the water off, Marshall walked in a bit deeper, but made sure not to go too far since it was completely dark and had no flashlight. It's really big. I wonder if this used to be used by somebody at one time, said Marshall as he sat down and yawned. I'm beat. The events of the day were finally hitting Marshall as he felt his sore body start to shiver again and his stomach growled. He had no food, no clothing to keep him warm, and he was alone. Alone. Marshall had never been alone before until now. He always had his friends or family with him, but never just himself. When he was with his friends, he always felt warm, safe, and happy. Now that he was alone, it was cold, dark, and scary. I don't like being alone, muttered Marshall, closing his eyes and sobbing. I want my mom and dad. I want Ryder. I want Ed. I want my friends. I want them so much. I want to go home. He didn't care if the pups hated him or he was a claws. He wanted to be back home, cuddled up with his best friends by the fire. He wanted to give Ryder. He wanted Ryder to give him his teddy bear. He wanted Chase to lie beside him and keep him warm like all the other times he had gotten cold and lonely. He tried hitting his collar again. Ryder, Chase, anyone, please find me. I need help. I want to go home, please. He cried again, just as the roar of thunder echoed, or at least he thought it was thunder. Marshall heard a growling noise as he looked up and saw, sitting on his 2 feet, was a giant, angry, black bear. Marshall felt his tired body freeze up as it raised its sharp claw. A second later, it came down upon him.